X-rated on the beat.
Alright, enough of that goofy shit. Listen, so this is going to be a I want to say unique video, and it's probably more of my out there personas doing their job. So as some of you have come to know that excuse me. Excuse me. Anyway, so as some of you have come to realize that I began working with Unreal, and the truth behind that is that I've been working with Unreal for almost a year. And why I started Unreal and why I wanted to start an Unreal Engine is, excuse me, two different things. For one, I had a lot of concepts in mind that I wanted to see if I could really, push the envelope in a sense. And I really think what led to it was just, obviously, it's my love for video games. Obviously a community that I have been a part of for a long time now. So obviously I am a big fan of several genres, JRPGs, action RPGs, and obviously horror games. Now, I really wanted to go up all out with this at first, but really what drove me to it, rather, is what was concerning for me. And I think really it bothered me that the game I had in mind was, I think like a lot of people took it personally, just like I took this personally, when the creator of the game I had in mind was utterly blackballed in a sense. And while there's a part of me that feels like he was blackballed, and obviously I'm avoiding saying his name because I feel like there's way too much bureaucracy with the subject, and I avoid conversations like this because at the end of the day, it's literally how I wanted to go about it. So as of recently, obviously at the time of this video, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach has dropped, and it's doing numbers for a lot of streamers out here. And why I myself have decided to not purchase the game until a later point. My thing with it is that I don't support big governments. I don't support higher integrities for people who feel like just because they have a certain amount of something that another group of individuals don't have. Like, to put it simply, I hate this whole war between the haves and the have-nots, and it's always been like, that's a very key play in my personality when it comes to politics, race, and stuff like that. And I personally am at that level where people like him and like overall just the concept, and it is literally, for me, I can't really see why people would actually take the amount of time it took to really get this man blacklisted. And obviously that might sound biased to some, but to people with a even mindset, instead of the standard 50-50 bullshit, I've never had an issue with a person's view on race or just overall. I've never had an issue with politics. I've never had an issue with race or anything of that nature. But me, it just wasn't for me. Now,
X-rated on the beat.
Again, what really drags this out for me, and honestly, this is a secondary video. There will be like 2 more videos to this, and it just really, yeah, it just really, it bothered me. Like, somebody who outspokenly would give speeches against any particular, this way I can sit up straight. I'm kidding. I'm retarded. I swear I'm stupid as hell. Anyway, but really what it is for me is that Scott Cawthon, I enjoyed his content, you know, as a developer. I enjoyed his presence in the system, in the media, and Five Nights at Freddy's was really one of those games that really like made you put in perspective of the point and click scenario. And obviously now with, you know, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, there's excuse me, there's obviously a level of, you know, movement to it now. But it's now at that point, like, he got so tired of being blacklisted that he chose to walk away from the industry altogether. And for me,
X-rated on the beat.
That's the ultimate disrespect. Because in this world, we have 2 options. It's damned if you will and damned if you don't. Five Nights at Freddy's was an original IP that when I first played it, because honestly, I didn't play Five Nights at Freddy's 1, 2, or even like I think I got started playing Five Nights at Freddy's 3, honestly. And that's when I like really started to like get into it. So when I started to play like the previous installments of Five Nights at Freddy's, and then I got more into it with, you know, Sister's Location, and then obviously, you know, Security Breach was on my radar, no doubt. That was on my radar. Like you guys saw, like I recently put out a AMV about the new trailer, and it was, you know what I'm saying, that bitch was fire. You know, I made that. That's fire. You get me? And it was just literally for me. I just didn't like it, you know. So to point out the whole concept of what I was doing, I was in the planning stages of creating my own variation of Five Nights at Freddy's, and took heavy inspiration from, you know, the whole Security Breach scenario. But from my understanding, I wanted to go bigger, you know, much bigger. And
X-rated on the beat.
I felt like it was a perfect idea, because the one thing about Five Nights at Freddy's is that it's consistent with its jump scares. It's consistent with its updated and sometimes used animatronics, but with new scenarios such as their jump scares and, you know, their mechanics, stuff like that. But really, it never occurred to me that Scott Cawthon would really try to, you know, add insult to injury by not only joining the Republican Party. Obviously, I don't give a fuck if he's Republican or not. I really don't. But I just couldn't support, you know, somebody that condoned violence against others of any race or any sexual orientation. And a lot of you have seen those documents that he supported, you know, Republican parties. He supported, you know, the presidential inauguration and all that. That's cool. I don't care about that. but the groups of individuals that, you know, that stood against, you know, the as they call the injustice against innocent people getting killed by police officers, I wasn't for it. I wasn't for it, because at the end of the day, and again, this video is not meant to be controversial. This video is not meant to, you know, strike a nerve in anyone. It's literally me giving my opinion, because I feel like the thing with politics,
X-rated on the beat.
it's always a pick a side. It's always a pick a side deal, and I've never picked a side. You know, my mother was Catholic and my father was Christian. You know, my father was a Republican. You know, my mother is a Democrat, and it's literally that at this point, I just really didn't want to involve myself in something of that nature. Because for me, as a fan, and I know a lot of people felt the same way, I felt hurt by that. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt annoyed. I felt betrayed. Like, I felt like everything was just like, at that point, like, I'm getting older, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm good off that whole idea of, you know, that there are people in this world that are still racist. There are people that are still committing murders of innocent black people and innocent kids getting their high school shot up and all that. I understand that. But my perspective on it is that everybody that has a fuck to give always seems to use social media to do it. Like, woo woo woo, all that other shit, like, okay, yeah, I'm Republican, you know, Donald Trump for 2020, da 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 da. You can be that, but when you get to that point where you start mocking the deaths of innocent people like George Floyd and Eric Garner, it's got nothing to do with race in that manner for me. Because it's literally like, I'm from the streets, you understand? I'm from the hood. And from my mindset, it's like, if you say fuck one person's dead homie, and say, for example, that person just died like a week ago, if you say some shit like that, not only is people gonna look at you with some type of animosity in their face, but you also got to deal with the repercussions from the dead person's family and associates. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of unnecessary heat. Now, people are probably going to say, like, oh yeah, he ain't never say nothing like that. But you're supporting groups of individuals that did. So ergo, how the world is looking at it. Now, again, Scott Cawthon knew what he was doing. He knew what he was getting himself into. And above all else, he knew that at some point somebody was going to say something to him about it. And nobody's playing that game no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying for anyone not to support, you know, the Five Nights at Freddy's series. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. But I'm saying from my mindset, like, I was ready to reveal the idea of the game. I was ready to start, you know, actually working on it so I could put out videos about it. But after all that, I was like, you know what, fuck this project. You know, and that it just wasn't for me. Like, I even told myself I was gonna wait till next year to say something about this shit, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't, like, because I felt like I was compromising my morals with this idea.
X-rated on the beat.
You know, so literally, how this is how this is gonna go. This video is basically just me explaining myself, because I'm giving my side. I wanted to give my opinion on the matter. Okay? And then the second video will be about me explaining the project. And then finally, like, the last one will be pretty much just the ideas of what I was working with. You know? And like I said, I had the paperwork on it. Like, I had ideas. I've written them ideas down and all that good stuff. So it's literally like, yeah. But honestly, I just wanted to give my 2 cents about that, because real shit, it take a lot for a motherfucker to really sit there and co-sign bullshit. And it's not even about co-signing bullshit. It's literally just like, Don't tell me nothing and then look me dead in my face and lie. You understand? Like, that's really what it's about for me. And the respect level that we have in this industry, the video game, the devs are really, it's a very biased occasion. Like, we're not gonna lie about nothing. It's literally like, I ain't gonna lie about none of that. It's literally just what it is. And again, if him retiring from the industry, it doesn't mean much to me, because when you get down to the nit and grit of it, like really get down and dirty with the situation, right? If he knew that this shit was gonna come out, he could have either not did it at all, or just, you know, said fuck it. You know what? Like, yeah, I'm not racist, but I support the Republicans, and you know, these hate groups are, you know, they're my people or whatever. You would have still got blacklisted. But again, the biggest issue is that motherfuckers try to explain themselves by exposing someone else through social platforms. If that man's political views and views on race really do bother y'all that much, you shouldn't even be buying his shit. You shouldn't even be making this man rich, because y'all been doing this shit for like, yeah, 6 years. Y'all been doing this shit for 6 years. Five Nights at Freddy's has had more than 12 different games come out in the last 6 years. Most of them on mobile, yeah. But most recently, I can go on the PlayStation on my PS5 right now, and I can tell you every single Five Nights at Freddy's game, including Five Nights at Freddy's Custom Nights, is on PlayStation 5 for under $10. You know? And again, where is the thin line of respect? There isn't any. And Scott Cawthon did not know better. I don't think he knew better, but I also know for a fact he knew what he was getting himself into. And that's literally all I'm gonna say about it. Like, just real shit. That's all I'm gonna say about it. So let me know. Like, I really, like, I want to hear the community really talk about this, because I've seen a few videos about somebody, you know, obviously, you know, clowning about it or whatever, but that's literally a conversation that really the community of gamers really needs to have. And I ain't the type to spread hate or nothing like that. So I'm interested in a colorful colorful discussion about this. And I've given my 2 cents about it. So I'm interested to hear what somebody else about it. So let me know what y'all want.